Welcome back to another video, and today's topic is r/nuclear revenge. I've found this Reddit interesting. I've watched a bunch of videos on it, so I thought I'd make a video on it. Hope y'all have a good time, and let's get into it. First post. Do not mess with my family. I will destroy you. Okay, so this goes way back, and still leaves me fuming. This is my very first post, so probably long-winded, but there's a reason. Background. I will call myself Daisy, qualified as a mechanical engineer in the mid-1980s, working in textiles in the little African country Players. Ed, the consultant with the carte blanche. Ed was the assess performance, but it also investigates why a profitable company takes a nosedive within 18 months. The villains are Bob, N-O-B, which I think is not Bob, and B-O-N. Don't know what they stand for, but we're going to go Bon, Knob, and Bob. So, story is long. Take a break. Yeah, okay. I was part of a management team employed on half of a NOG, non-government association, or organization. Company funded by the Commonwealth of IMF, International Monetary Funds, to set up a viable labor incentive industry for the country in the mid-1990s. To start with, this was a dream job: free luxury accommodations in a secure village with tennis courts, swimming pool, free utilities, lights, electric, water, and telephone. Landline, no internet at the time, and no mobility in this region. Free private schooling for my 3 children, a monthly allowance, not only as not salary, and great pension. The catch was my husband was not allowed to work permanently. He could consult for companies but not be employed as part of the work and resident permit process. I was the total breadwinner. I was respected by the management team and my employees. I loved the people of this nation. The culture, the warmth, and the willingness to learn everything, even if the majority of the English employees were illiterate. I cannot read today. I helped set up schools to improve their verbal and written skills, not only in English, but also in the local official language. I woke up each day ready to tackle the challenge and see the company flourish and become profitable. The company becomes very profitable, and as a part of the agreement with CDC, Commonwealth Development Corporation, and IMF, International Monetary Funds, it needs to be sold to investors in this country as a profitable venture, with the caveat that all the locals employees will remain employed for 18 months. The order books were full, the bank balance very healthy on the day the new owners came in. The new owners have their headquarters in Southeast Asia. This is where the troubles began. New CEO, Knob, and co-CEO, Bon. Come in. The first order of the day is to remove the majority of the previous management and bring their team in. It literally says in their agreement that they can't do that. But anyway, it was totally known as uncertain terms that as a female, I should be home breeding and not working. My time was limited. The company started losing money within 9 months, and the new team started blaming the local employees. This meant that the head office sent an independent observer. We'll call him Ed. Today, to feedback proposal to the group and the CEOs in Southeast Asia. This is important for later. I had to have leave for 8 weeks, and whilst on medical leave, the CEO makes the decision to cut off free private education for my children and no more free utilities or food allowance with adjusting my allowance. Remember, as a true expat, the company owes you totally. I made a formal complaint, but was told if I didn't like it, the company would inform the government that I had not been fired due to not being qualified. This would have meant 48 hours to leave the country with no support from the company. This means my family would lose everything and become destitute. On my return to work, they demoted me and placed their own man to run my previous department, engineering and maintenance. I go introduce myself to the new manager. Let's name him Bob. Bob refuses to shake hands and states that he is there to make my life hell and get me fired. I saw red. No one threatens my family's well-being. And so it should be. And gets away with it. He was the only spokesman for the senior management. Payback is needed. I had started to start an investigation on what's going on. In the 12 months the new management team has taken over, the company is now serious debt. New equipment that had been installed by the NGO previously has to be sold to help pay salaries. The pension fund was found to be underfunded, explaining that NGO having taken money out, this management team has somehow brought overextended families that were all being educated in top universities either in South Africa or even the UK, as well as top private schools in the region for the younger children. There was an extended house staff and drivers. All of this coming out as losses in the company's books. Top it off, I found out my new manager's university doctorate degree was fake. This management team treated the local staff as subhuman. I had enough of the BS time to sort things out with these wankers. Stage 1. Prove current boss is not qualified what he says he is. Talk to Ed about my suspicions. Show him the transcript from the telephone conversation with the university that he has his PhD from, and we set a trap. We have a set of machines that are seriously underperforming. Ed and me work out a plan where I walk into the lead meeting late, and I was to be quiet until Ed asked. We wanted to give Bob enough rope. In the meeting, I sit quietly whilst Bob blames the local operators, the local maintenance fitters for all the woes that are happening and the reasons why he can't meet the order book's demands. Ed sweetly asks if there is a possibility of mechanical issues, and Bob denies it. Ed then asks for my opinion. I explain that Bob has been changing suppliers of critical components for cheaper versions, but somehow they still cost the same on the official books. I had evidence that demonstrates that Bob was receiving a significant percentage of the difference on the side. I also also stated that I could fix the problem using some of the correct components. If I was wrong, then by all means I could be fired. Ed set a challenge to me and Bob. Each one of us has a team of fitters and our chosen components. Bob storms to the shop floor and does the usual screaming at everyone. I go down and explain what I was trying to achieve, and how it would benefit the operators, and getting the project done at the end of the week. I have to report back to management team. Ed had asked a few operators, mechanics, and production supervisors how Bob worked, and if there was any attempt of sabotaging my project. Needless to say, Bob did try everything. Ed gives Bob the chance to come clean, but Bob stated that I was a liar and knew nothing. Ed stands up, goes out the door, opens it out, and outside is Bob's family. Ed had organized drivers and contacts to fly out to South Africa, pick up the children from school and universities. For those in the UK, the university was informed no company funds would be forthcoming. Then he processed to give each of Bob's family a plane ticket the following morning. Company security guards and police were with Bob to his bank, where the funds were frozen due to fraudulent transactions. He accepted a plea bargain. He will not be welcome in Africa, even ever, and his home country police were informed where Bob was landing at his home country. The head office was organized a police escort. He was basically unemployed, and his family greatly shamed. I hope he just got deserted. Couldn't care less. Stage 1 complete. So that would have been pro-revenge, but there's another part, so it's nuclear, I guess. Stage 2. The final event prove Nob and Bon have been defrauding the company and the country. Nob and Bon were still in charge of the company. This is now 18 months from them taking over. They started a clause that their workforce could not be touched. It was up. Nob and Bon called an all-site meeting. They stood up front with tears running down, and how the NGO had lied about the company's orders and profitability. How they're trying their best, but the company is really struggling and people will lose their jobs. I had been working closely with Nob and Bon's secretary, so had been able to access the info needed survival kick in. As I was a part of the original management team, I had the original accounts that were audited as part of the CDC and the IMF funding for the NGO. In between, I accumulated information of the losses being shown and missing money going offshore into private accounts and not the head office accounts. You see, these two did not respect women or locals and assume that what was done would not be picked up. If they had bothered to understand who they employed and the office, they would have found that the purchase officer, the accounting supervisor, were qualified accountants, close links to the government. The banks, they were, you're right, women. I had explained that there would be a time when we needed the evidence to safeguard the money and people's livelihood. So, the files had been building from when they were in 6 months to now, a year later. Knob announced that 66% of the staff will have to be let go. Again, I talked to Ed and give him the evidence that we had accumulated. Knob calls me into the office and tells me that I am redundant with immediate effect, and that to be able to stay in the country to sort out my family, I would now owe the company rent. That was twice my given allowance. I lost it. I literally turned around and explained that less than 24 hours, he would have no future. His family would have no future, no matter where they run. They would be found. I knew this was true, as Ed already had the wheels in motion. This time, the group chairman walks in on my heated conversation together with the IMF representative and Bond in tow. Knob was fired on the spot, loaded onto a plane. International warrant for fraud. The IMF pursued this fully. They were screwed. In this Southeast Asian country, a stain on your trustworthiness means you are untouchable. As for me, well, the company limped along, but I no longer trusted anyone from that group. Myself and my husband found employment in other regional countries. This time, both of us had work permits and also airtight contracts. No one will ever screw us over or make us feel like slaves. The message was, do not threaten my children or my family. I will destroy you by waiting until you hang. Not proud, just realistic. Update. After I left this company, I actually ran a little guest lodge. I wanted a break from the chaos, only to get into another type of chaos. Now living in the UK, came home to my husband's hometown. Some other stories will told, though they will not beat this one. We'll probably need to save these under Untitled, Cheesy Beggars, or Pro Revenge. Your support really super. So if I do one of those subreddits, I'll probably find her or this person's account. So if I do and you'll want to see it, tell me in the comments, because I'll be glad to do it. But anyway, hope y'all have a good day, and yeah, peace.